The Cold War Evolves by Lily Zager, Abby Goodell, Sarah Dolan, and Michelle Mazuka.
In the 1950s, Korea and China became battlegrounds of the Cold War.
Chinese communists led by Mao Zedong and the nationalists led by Chiang Kai-shek had joined forces to fight Japan in World War II.
Chiang Kai shek was supported by the US even though he wasn't a popular leader.
Chiang and his followers fled to Formosa, renamed Taiwan, an island off the coast of China, after falling to Zedong.
Some Republican leaders blamed President Truman for losing China to communism.
The U.S. feared China and the USSR would become an alliance, and an even bigger threat, the U.S. interest in the world. However, China rejected Soviet control.
The US refused to recognize the People's Republic of China in 1949. They also cut off all trade with China and opposed its admission to the United Nations.
Not all Americans supported this. Some thought strengthening US's relationships with China would weaken the relationships between USSR and China.
In need of an ally in Asia, they began to lift Japan's industrial and economic restrictions. Japan soon became an economic powerhouse and a strong U.S. partner.
MacArthur then called for an expansion of the conflict. He wanted to blockade China's ports, bomb major Chinese industrial centers. President Truman rejected MacArthur's plan.
At the time, Soviet troops occupied North Korea, while U.S. troops occupied South Korea.
The Korean War began when North Korean troops armed with Soviet weapons invaded South Korea, June 1950.
The final 2 years of the war became a stalemate, with most of the fighting taking place near the 38th parallel.
Finally, in 1953, the two sides signed an armistice ending hostiles. The agreement left the Korean peninsula divided along the 38th parallel.
About 3.5 million Northern and Southern Korean soldiers died or suffered injuries. As many as 2 million Korean civilians may have lost their lives. More than 54,000 American soldiers also died in the war.